ておく. Today we're going to learn about the te form of verbs plus 置く. Te oku has many uses, but the main ones are do something in advance, leave something as is, and do something later. Do something in advance. レストランの予約をする to make a reservation at a restaurant. The te form of する is しておく. レストランの予約をしておく to make a reservation at a restaurant in advance. The polite form is 予約しておきます. 予約しておきます. In everyday conversation, ておく often gets shortened to とく. レストランの予約をしとく. And でおく gets shortened to どく. Like 薬を飲んでおく to take medicine in advance. 薬を飲んどく. 薬を飲んどく. Leave something as is. 窓を閉めておく or 窓を閉めとく to leave the window closed. Do something later. レポートを送ってください. Please send me the report. レポートを送っておく and it needs to be in the te form to connect to ください. 置く is actually a group one verb, so the te form of 置く is 置いて. レポートを送っておいてください or レポートを送っといてください. レポートを送っといてください. Compared to レポートを送ってください. This version means more like, please send me the report later. Like, you don't have to do it right now, but please send the report when you have time. It gives the listener more flexibility with the timing and sounds less time pressured. 置く by itself is a group one verb that means to place or to set. So the core meaning of ておく is to do the verb and set it aside for future convenience. You do the action and set it aside, and later it brings you some kind of convenience. This is what ておく fundamentally expresses. Again, you do the action, and later it serves its purpose and brings some convenience. If the focus is on doing the action before it serves its purpose, then ておく expresses do something in advance. レストランの予約をしておく. I will make a reservation at a restaurant in advance. I will make a reservation so that when we go to the restaurant, we can go in right away without waiting in line, which is awesome. In order for it to serve its purpose later, the action needs to remain done until then. When this is the focus, ておく expresses leaving something as it is. 窓を閉めておく leave the window closed so that when it rains this afternoon, the rain won't come inside, for example. Also, in order for it to serve its purpose, the action needs to be done in advance. However, the action doesn't need to be done right away. As long as the action is completed before it's needed, it can fulfill its purpose. So you can do the action at any time, as long as it's done before it serves the purpose. When that is the focus, ておく can express the idea of doing something later, not necessarily now. レポートを送っておいてください. Please send me the report later. You don't have to send it right now, but please send it before I need it, so I can read it before the meeting, for example. You can send it later, but please send it before the deadline, before it's too late. Kind of like that. Also, it's not like ておく can only mean one of them at a time. For example, if there is an open window and someone says, 午後から雨が降るから窓を閉めておいて, this can mean all three of them at the same time. Because it's going to rain afternoon, please close the window in advance and make sure to keep it closed. And you don't have to do it right now, but please make sure to do it before it starts to rain. But if the window is already closed, then this sentence would just mean, because it's going to rain this afternoon, please leave it closed. Do not open it. So it depends on the context. Usage limitation. ておく can only be used with volitional verbs. In Japanese, verbs can be divided into two categories. Volitional verbs, actions done on purpose, like 食べる, eat, 飲む, drink, 泳ぐ, swim. These are actions someone chooses to do. Non-volitional verbs, actions that happen unintentionally or naturally, like わかる, understand, 生まれる, to be born, 疲れる, get tired. These describe actions that just happen without anyone's control. And because ておく expresses doing something in advance for future convenience, it only works with volitional verbs, actions you can intentionally choose to do beforehand. That said, the line between volitional and non-volitional verbs isn't always obvious. There is no official list of which verbs fall into which, and some verbs can be both depending on the context. So for now, don't worry about it too much. However, there's one useful tip I want to share with you. Do you remember transitive and intransitive verbs? If not, go check out lesson 29 part 1 again. In these verb pairs, the transitive verb is almost always volitional, and the intransitive verb is almost always non-volitional, because these intransitive verbs just describe the result of an action. They don't include someone's intention behind it, so they don't work with ておく. Now, just to be clear, this doesn't mean all volitional verbs are transitive, or all non-volitional verbs are intransitive. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, if it's a verb that comes in a transitive-intransitive pair, then the transitive one is volitional, and the intransitive one is non-volitional in general. So in conclusion, when using ておく, if it's a transitive-intransitive verb pair, you should use the transitive option. 例文. Lastly, let's take a look at more example sentences of ておく. 友達が来るから家を片付けておきました。or 家を片付けときました。My friend is coming over, so I tidied up the house in advance. ごちそうさま. Thanks for the meal. お皿洗うね. I'll wash the dishes. あ、そこに置いておいて. or あ、そこに置いといて. Oh, please leave it there. Or literally, please keep it put there. Or そのままにしておいて. そのままにしといて is also very common to mean, oh, just leave it there. 私が後で洗っておくよ. 私が後で洗っとくよ. Oh, I'll wash it later. 来週の金曜日遊ばない? Wanna hang out next Friday? うん、いいよ. Yeah, sounds good. 何かしたいことある? Is there anything you wanna do? 考えておくね. 考えとくね. I'll think of something before we hang out. 今日は以上です。今日もお疲れ様でした。皆さん日本語の勉強いつも本当にお疲れ様です。じゃあまた次のビデオで会いましょう。じゃあまたね。バイバイ。